Hi, Bianca.
Hey, Alex.
I still can't hear you. Is that me or you?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
no. Did you mute your mic?
But I unmuted it.
I think it's you because I can hear the background music. Oh, it's me. It's me, says the producer.
Oh, wow.
One
But I
moment.
can hear you.
Craziness. I don't know what's going on.
Interesting. Hi, David.
I do know what's going on. Sorry about that, everybody. Sometimes StreamYard likes to just change my audio inputs and outputs. It's a little confusing. Not gonna lie.
Got it. Okay, got it. Yeah, we're just getting adjusted to stuff. We have new superpowers. Okay, we got David on YouTube, Jire or Jira. We'll figure out who and what. Our YouTube crew, it's always interesting because I feel like YouTube's like, what is happening here? But we're on the Twitch stream.
Oh, I know David. David and I. Thank you so much for watching, David. David and I went to grad school together. And David, we worked on a bunch of group projects together. David's a really smart guy. We also, my first D&D campaign was with David as well. So shout out to D&D.
Wow, this is exciting. Oh yeah, it is. I love that we get to have like both folks on. Different vibes. But welcome everyone to A/B testing. Super excited to have y'all.
Yeah. I'm Alex. Hi. It's Bianca.
Oh, I'm Bianca. If you're watching in the future, what nuggets do we have for future folks watching?
I don't know.
I don't know yet.
They're in the future. What nuggets do they have for us?
Wow. Okay, great. I love that. So if you're in the future watching this, let us know, what does the future look like? And the future could be whatever day you choose. So what to expect today? We are going to our stream roots. We are flying and figuring this out as we go. Tons have happened. But even before we get started, let's start off with sponsored, not sponsored. What do we have floating?
I have an exciting one, but it's weird.
Okay. I think you can start because I usually start with my sponsored, not sponsored.
I'm getting it ready. Give me 1 second.
Okay, cool. Never mind then.
Sponsored, not sponsored by a Reuben. Oh shit! Just fell on my.
The timing! That was too good. That was too good. All right. Very important. Very important. That was a little chaotic.
That's what I'm here for.
Clearly.
A little chaos.
Okay. That's good. It's cool. A meal. Let's see. My sponsored, not sponsored today. I have gotten back into chlorophyll. So I used to take some like core oxygen. I'll find it at some point. But yeah, I got back to my like chlorophyll. The other thing that was on my like sponsored, not sponsored, but I don't have it physically. But
well, let's pull it up. No. I forgot to share my screen, but let's share a screen.
Oh, okay.
You tell me what it is.
So we have core oxygen is the first item.
Okay, hold on. Let me get core oxygen up. Mm-hmm. Like core.
Yep.
Like, wait, I don't know what that is. Oh, chlorophyll.
Oxygen. Chlorophyll, yeah. So that's been good. Just kind of, that's been kind of a thing happening.
Nice.
And then the other thing, let's see. I'm not seeing am I seeing your screen? No. Okay, now we're
Hold on. This stuff?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. We get deep on A/B
We get deep on health products. I love that you're talking about chlorophyll, oxygen, and I'm munching on corned beef Reubens.
It's balance. So like it's very important. So I just like started to get back into like, all the things. The other thing, it is getting dry out here sometimes. We have Paula's Choice Pro Collagen Peptide. It's a gloss bomb.
I don't know what you just said.
Paula's Choice. Paula's
Choice. Pure
Pro collagen. Pro
collagen.
Yes.
This thing?
No, the next
okay.
one. The lip balm. Yes, correct. It's very important. Actually, let's click the Sephora one. No, well, the Sephora one doesn't have, because you know what?
Stuff?
So, yes. Well, no, not that one. Alex, you're off. You're off right now. It's the lip balm. So the fourth one down. This is a little chaotic. No. Fourth one down on the visuals.
This one?
Yes. Okay, great. This is great. So the reason why I said to click Sephora is because I feel like Sephora has been doing such a good job of even, I know this is like not sponsored, but I feel like Sephora has been doing a great job of like notifications, follow-ups. Like, I feel like they've encouraged me to like buy more things, because they're like, hey, if you got this, they'll check back in 2 weeks. They'll like, you know what I mean? So I actually, yeah, I've been enjoying it.
That's what we preach. Like, that's the whole thing is like, how do you keep your customers engaged? How do you make sure you're hitting them at the right times with the right messages to get them to be better customers and stay happier?
No, yeah. So this is my not sponsored, because it's been super just like dry in the temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been great. But yeah, even back to like the customer experience thing, I think Sephora does a great job of like the in-person to out of store experience, because they understand that like places like TikTok, YouTube, whatever can get your mind share, but I feel like they still make themselves a part of the conversation, especially during a time where like you can get your products anywhere. So shout out to Sephora. # not sponsored.
I will say, walking into a Sephora, at least for me, felt chaotic. It was a little bit like there's stuff all over the place. There's just like so many options. The people who work there are great, but it was a lot.
Mm-hmm. Chat, I'm curious. What's your
what's your skincare routine?
Well, that too. But what are you into? Any delightful customer experiences you've had lately?
Yeah.
But anything you're liking, you're enjoying, please let us know.
I have another one too.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to share books. I'm going to just share a book every time because I love books. This is the book I'm reading right now. And I'm actually in the third book in the series. It's really fun and silly, kind of like a fantasy sci-fi book, D&D adjacent. It's just they're quick reads. The author, Matt Dinneman, super engaging. This is the first book that I think I found from like BookTube that I just like, on YouTube past somebody who was talking about how great this book was, and read it and went for it. And it's been fun. Yeah.
Cool. No, that's exciting. Yeah, no, Alex has really good book recs. One of these days I'm going to sit down and go through the book rec.
I don't know. If somebody's into D&D and reads a lot of fantasy, I would recommend this book. I don't know if like this is the book I would tell you to go read.
No, wow.
No, because there's other fantasy books that I think are more special that I would like if you're gonna do it. Like there's other places I'd probably like tell someone to go dive in with like Brandon Sanderson Mistborn, something like that.
Personalization.
Yeah, it's all about personalization.
Basically. No, this is good. So I asked chat, what would they bring to sponsored, not sponsored? So chat, let us know. Also, the other thing in honor, I know RJ hopped off, but RJ, celebrated some new work wins. So also chat, if there's anything exciting going on for you, we want to celebrate y'all as well. So, keep us posted. So yeah, lots happening. You just launched, what is that thing called? Twilio update.
We talked about it all last week.
We did.
Episode 2 is live. Check it out. Should probably throw this in chat. We don't need to watch it right now. I'm on camera already.
Are you getting tired of is this like Alex squared? It's like Alex.
There's so many of me. I'm everywhere.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll put it in chat for everybody.
Alex.
This was a lot of fun to make because this one was about RCS, and RCS is super cool. It's a new messaging platform that allows for rich features and content within your like native messaging app. So I always had fun with YouTube not YouTube, we're on YouTube right now. I've always had fun with like WhatsApp, for example, because it gives you all these like cool, rich features like cards and videos and like quick responses. And this does that in messaging, which is sweet. So it doesn't work for everybody yet. It's still a process of like getting all the carriers on it in the US. But it works in like Europe. Brent, our very own chef Brent, has it on his phone. So it just depends on who you are, if you have it or not. But it was really fun to make and really awesome to work with the team to get it made too. And I'm really proud of these videos. So go check it out. Got it. And then also shout out to you, because I think like around here is an interview that you did with Adam and that I cut up and used for this. So you asked such a good question that got Adam on a roll talking about using SMS instead of voice for certain things. And I'm really glad we had that. So
no, yeah, it was a great, and that was a part of our Transform. If you haven't watched, be sure to do so. We're doing part 2 on the 20th of
next
March.
Week.
Yep. But yeah, I think it was just like really cool to, learn more about what they're doing. I think I had asked them about like, how do you determine what channels, right? Like what channels make sense. So I think even that aspect of just like, it's one thing to like, yes, meet people where they're at, but even just like this aspect of like using channels as a tool for personalization rather than just like the message per se. So I think that's,
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to like, like some like talks and style of like the median is the message, right? Like part of like his whole, so we basically asked him like, how do you choose what channel to work? And Adam runs a company called Paradox, which does, they like basically use voice AI to make hiring a lot better. So they like, for example, I think he gave one example where he said like, it used to take like a week or two for McDonald's to hire people, and they got it down to 3 days for their like hiring, like wild stuff. But I think when you think about the medium, there you go. Bianca just did it. When you think about the medium as part of it, the idea that like for scheduling a meeting, you actually want it to be a little bit async because you want somebody to have a moment to go check their calendar, but you want it to be as immediately as possible. And so this was the whole notion that he had, where it's like, hey, you don't want to like, so you have to schedule a call or hope that someone gets on the phone with you in order to schedule that first meeting. It's just like, it just adds. So I love that idea of like, okay, what are you trying to accomplish and what channel is going to accomplish that best?
I also even think, so during the talk, they mentioned like about Olivia, the one of their like main solutions. But I think even this aspect of like, what's like what's the thing that these tools and services can kind of take off, right? Like the hands, like of whomever, right? Like a hiring manager is seeing tons and tons of folks, and it's like, how do we make this easier? How do we make this more efficient? So Paradox is doing great stuff. Highly recommend just checking them out. The other thing too, they're doing great stuff, and they also were a part of our AI Startup Searchlight program. Lots of great startups that we met. We actually haven't done a good talk about. Actually, let's talk about AI.
Is that what you want to talk about today?
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, and then also I would love to talk about like RCS and just kind of what you learned from that experience. So yeah, let's do a little. I think we're at the tail end of that part. What is it? AI Startup Searchlight. We're at the end of like that process. So I think we can let's talk about that a little bit.
For sure.
Let's see. I'm gonna share.
I got it, I think too.
Okay, cool. All right.
Is this what you're going to share?
Go for it. Yes. Okay, so for
this was the application page. I want to find the winner's announcement, actually.
Oh, it's on the blog. It's on the blog. So you would have to look up the blog. I don't have that up. Oh, let's see. Let's check out this last year's honorees. So with AI Startup Searchlight, okay, yeah.
I think it's this. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Is it?
No, this is another one.
This is the application. You should probably look up your name. Look up our, because we were
It's this one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
No, this was last year's.
Oh gosh. It's a blog post somewhere. Let's see.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to not us, and while I find this.
Okay, great. I feel like if you go on the blog and you search our names, because we were tagged as authors, so that could be a hack. But so this year we did the second iteration of AI Startup Searchlight, and I think for us, like, AI Startup Searchlight really highlights, like, what are people building out there, right? Like,
yeah.
I think it's one thing for us to talk about, like, the technologies in AI, but I think AI Startup Searchlight, to me, really creates a space for us to really surface for other builders, for other folks, startup leaders, right? To know what's happening. There's just so much action and activity happening in the AI, like, in the space. So I always love this kind of I love this, like, award series because it just kind of brings these ideas to life. So yeah.
We got to talk to 10 of them, which is, I mean, there were 16 winners. We talked to a lot of them. We talked to Alpha Run, who's doing, they're doing hiring as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked to CuraJoy. I'll just go this way. So they've got a platform that uses AI to help families navigate like getting the right care when it comes to, like, children with mental health challenges. They were so inspiring because it was founded by a woman who had a bunch of issues with her own child, had a bunch of challenges, and she had to figure out how to overcome them, and wanted to make sure that that was then available for the next person.
No, that is so real. Let's see, Althea.
We didn't talk to Althea, but they're super cool stuff too. Apella we talked to. You got to talk to Apella.
Oh my gosh. Apella.
That was your favorite one, I think.
Because you know me, I love a good retail moment. But I think, shopping, consumption. I think what was cool about Apella, because, like, even the founder, like, one of the founders is, like, getting their PhD, George. Yeah, like, getting their PhD.
It's two brothers that founded it.
Yeah, George and James. Yes. Like, and I think just how much they're so focused on the customer experience, so focused on just, like, making sure folks are connecting to the right things that they need. Like, it's exciting stuff. And I also love how they bring the Twilio pieces together too. So Apella, super awesome folks. Let's see, who else we got?
Alpha Run was another pair of brothers. These ones twins, I believe identical twins, who work together.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it was so funny. I was talking to one of them and I was like, so should we get you and your brother both on? And he was like, no, we're pretty much the same. I was like, that is amazing. But yeah, it's twin brothers, and they're also doing AI powered phone interviews. So their whole vision is that everyone should get a phone interview for any job. Like, that's their thing. That shouldn't be the thing that, like, it shouldn't be a resume that's the barrier. They should get a phone interview. And they've had examples of, like, they told us one story of somebody who was hired in a sales role that they helped hire, and they were like, the company was like, this person's crushing it, and we would have never even given them an interview if not for you. Yeah.
Let's see. No. Okay.
We didn't get to talk to 11X or Althea Health or Symbol. No. Story we talked to.
Oh yeah. Story was always so touching, because I think, kind of, like, I've shared on here with, like, some stuff about grief, and even having, like, family members that have dealt with, like, dementia or things like that. Like, I think the ability to kind of capture these memorable stories. And one thing to me that really stuck out with story, no pun intended, is even this aspect of, like, making it accessible across generations. Because that was something I was like, not everyone's super tech savvy. So I think I loved how they were using different tools, different channels to solve this problem. So love that. So it's so great talking to the story crew. Let's see, who else we got?
Fiado.
Oh,
These
yeah,
guys
yeah.
were super cool. They're based in El Salvador, and they they basically have a new way to give small loans out to people using some kind of not as traditional methods for evaluating credit, but they do it all AI powered, and all their communications are AI powered as well. And it's one of those things where I didn't realize that like the vast majority of people in El Salvador are unbanked and therefore can't get any sort of loans, can't have savings. It's just like they have cash and that's it. So their whole vision is to unlock the economy in this place that's, has some struggles so that people can, participate more and give and just like get the economy moving more. And it was really cool to hear kind of what their vision was and how they're going about it.
No, that is good. Our good friends Paradox.
Yeah.
Paradox, they were also there. We highlighted them on some like internal our analyst or investor day.
Yeah, they've been
I
at a
think
bunch of Twilio stuff.
Yeah, I think, I feel like they bring it all together, right? And one thing that I love that they highlight was even around just like the compliance, how Twilio is able to support them at scale. And I know compliance isn't the fun thing to talk about, right? Like, and regulations and all the things. But I do think having a tool that can kind of grow with you, that isn't just providing great tech, hashtag we're always sponsored by Twilio.
A hashtag
Twilio
actually sponsored for once.
Hashtag actually sponsored. That's just the new tagline. But I do think like Paradox to me, like that aspect around scale, leveraging AI in key pieces of the business. So lots of good stuff with Paradox. Good Call. I'm trying to remember. Did you talk to Good Call?
I talked to Good Call. This was Bob Summers was Good Call.
Yes.
They came out of like a Google lab. And so, and they came out a while ago. Like they're not that new. Like they've been around for a couple of years, like longer than you would think for a voice AI company. But that's because Bob was at Google working on like emerging tech at Google when he saw some of the voice stuff that was coming out and was like, oh, this is close. And so he started a company around it, and they basically have a tool that lets small businesses use voice AI to never miss a phone call. But I love that he saw the writing on the wall early because he happened to be in the right place at the right time. And then they spun out of the Google, whatever the Google lab was called. I can't remember the name right now, but they spun out of it, and he's still in business a while later doing AI. And like, he's so ahead of the game because he started so early. Their whole team started early.
And then Gail, that was also you. Yeah.
Gail does, they have AI, voice AI, and kind of like auto response. Like basically they leverage AI for communications for regulated industries like financial services, insurance, things like that. They specialize in being bilingual and multilingual. So they operate across Latin America and the US, especially in the south of the US where a lot of people speak Spanish. And they have like unlocked all these markets because they've tailor-made their AI to work in any language and still be regulatorily compliant. I don't know if that's the right word, but like still be compliant from a regulatory perspective. Those were some really cool founders. I really appreciated them. They had started some other businesses and just kept like spinning one out from the next. And this came because they were using it as they were like, I think they were running maybe an insurance. They were running some sort of financial services business and then built the AI and was like, oh, this AI is way more interesting than the financial services.
No, that is real. I don't think we talked to,
We didn't talk to, we did talk to Mighty. You did.
Mighty. Yes, I did. I'm trying to remember. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Mighty. The thing I liked about Mighty, going back into like, if you're doing a service business, you're not trying to be on your phone. So I loved, and also even the speed and the urgency. So one thing that stuck out with Mighty, they were like, if you have an overflow in your bathroom, right? Like you want that fast. You want to be able to get in touch with someone that can help you find a solution. So I love how it's just like, how do you work with some of those providers to help kind of solve issues and working with a group of folks that like, time is of the essence on both sides. So yeah, lots of cool stuff there. And then spoke phone.
Talk spoke
Definitely
phone
like,
too.
yep, definitely that like
Yeah.
last mile communication.
Yeah.
Lots of
The thing I
stuff
liked
there.
about Spoke Phone is they, in particular, were focused on using AI to make interactions more human. Like that was
Yep.
a thing that their founder kept talking about. Like one of his coolest examples is there was a big furniture company that has showrooms everywhere, and you call their general number and they know that you went in to whatever local branch, they know who you talk to. And so when you call that number, you don't just go to like some generic phone tree, you get patched into the person that you met with on the floor. And it's like, that was like wild to people that, oh wait, I just met, Frank down at the showroom floor, and a week later I'm calling back and Frank picks up the phone. Like that's wild. And
Yeah.
but on top of that, also recording all of the data so that when Frank picks up the phone, he knows exactly what you're looking for and what he talked to you about and why. And I don't know, I just love that idea of like using AI and comms to make this all so much smoother and make it more personal.
Yeah, it's also like you want to feel like this. What's that word? Continuity. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I think that's gonna that'll be probably the next thing I talk about, which is like what trends are we seeing and things like that. But if I start to think about even this aspect of like continuity, you love that you have your text message on your phone. If you're connecting it to your computer, being able to text from wherever, it's frustrating to stop and go, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, who was I texting? Like, imagine if every time. But I do think we are going to probably maybe see some trends there. So I like how they're like, how do we think about even this aspect, right? That people are used to expecting. And let's see, Frame.
I don't think we talked to Frame.
Nope, I don't think so.
That was it.
But yeah, but that was it. Like we had so many great folks we spoke to. Be on the lookout in a few months. With more Searchlight winners. But I think like we've been a part of this like Searchlight thing for the past. I mean, it's like
from the beginning, all of a year ago.
From the start, we've been a part of the AI story. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, we're already starting to think about next year as well.
Jingles. And jingles that we can add. But I am kind of curious, like I could also share too, like, what are we seeing, right? Like, I think first year we saw some stuff, but like this year, what are we seeing? What comes to mind after like, I think as we're at the tail end of like the second round.
Yeah. What I'm seeing is a bit of a challenge or dissonance. We're all so used to bad customer service, especially on the phone. We're also used to going through a bunch of like chat trees, like constantly pushing 0 to try to get to an operator, yelling agent into the phone. Like we're all used to these things. But now all of a sudden AI is making those agents good enough that they're probably going to be able to do what you need to do. But now there's the challenge of like, how do you show the customer that right away so that they don't freak out and try to talk to a human, because the AI can probably tell you when your order's coming, or check where your bag is if you can't find it, or like there's so many things basic things that you call for. They used to call this, I think, like IVR capture, but I don't love that term because the whole idea was like, how many things can you solve without actually talking to a real human? But AI is kind of like that middle ground where it does that. And I think the challenge is convincing people to trust it. And I think people are more willing now, but yeah.
I think one thing that's interesting is like, I think definitely like the data aspect, I think it's going to be interesting to see like how the data conversation is melded into the process. Let's see. Yes, chill, human. I got this. Fact. I wonder, does the AI have a name? But I do think data is going to be like, it's going to be interesting to see like fun and playful ways companies are incorporating the rich data that they have through across channels. So whether that's voice, whether that's whatever, that's going to be interesting. Also going to be curious, like, what does it look like for companies to continue to support the not companies, platforms, right, to support the AI innovation economy, right? So I think in this next kind of iteration, like what does it look like to supercharge folks who are building great solutions? So I'm kind of excited about like what's flowing, where we're heading. Yeah.
I also like noticed that I don't think any of our teams, and again, or any of our winners, and we talked to 10 of the 16 and we reviewed all of them too. I mean, we were a part of the judging, but none of them are like foundation model companies. None of them, like they're all integrating AI in ways that are unique. And I think that that's one of the keys that I'm noticing, which is like the opportunity space for like the true, like building a model or like the base of the AI stack. I think that's a really hard place to be in, but figuring out how to apply these tools that exist to industries and users and people who are typically overlooked or can't afford them or normally can't do it, or in novel ways. I think that that's the real key. I think that that's where a lot of the value is right now.
But as you were talking, one thing that actually comes to mind, which is like a lot of these companies are building a trust. Oh, you okay there, Alex? Okay. I was like, happened so fast. All right.
T went down the wrong hole there. Whew.
Noted. Got it. I was like, is he okay on the stream? One thing that comes up is like even this like trust layer, right? Like how are you creating interactions that feel trusted, especially with a technology that like folks are like, AI is coming for everything, you know? So it's trust.
Bianca, I don't know if you meant to, but you just gave a great segue into RCS.
Oh,
I don't even think you knew.
It wasn't my plan. We're so good at this that we just even flow into RCS. Wow.
It just goes right there.
It just flows. Look at us.
And I'll explain why. So let me just pull up the Twilio RCS page, because I think that that's a good way to just show off a little bit of this. Let's see.
Good old RCS. So, okay. So from trust to RCS.
Well, it's a thing. So like, look, we get a lot of text messages. I got one today that was just like, hi there. Right. And I'm like, okay, that's somebody trying to warm up a number. I know better. Or a bunch of, political ones are a whole nother world, but I'm not going to touch on those. But like, or you get the ones where it's like, your package is delayed. Go to amazon.scamme.com to check, like there's things. And so one of the things that RCS does, and I think it's kind of main value point, is this idea of a branded sender. So instead of it coming from a random number, it comes from your business, like Owl Hotels here. And one of the things that does is it improves trust in the message, because it's not just coming from some random number. It's coming from, A/B testing stream, let's say. Like they know who we are. And so that's one of the many things that I think is so cool about RCS, that I'm excited about it, because it has a branded experience, and I think it's going to be just a lot nicer for people.
I think we're getting back. Like, I think initially
can't hear you for some reason. Is that me or is that you? Probably me. I'm the problem. No, this one might not be me.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Uh-oh. This is happening again. Look at us with audio issues. So it goes. Unless I'm going crazy and it's not me. I don't know what's happening. But no. I don't think it is.
It is you. It's you.
Anyone? Brent, you got us here? You can hear both of us, but I can't hear Bianca. Again, it's always me. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea why this is happening. Say something now. Can I hear you?
I'm talking. Hi.
Can't hear you. And also, it was on my bad microphone. I don't know what's going on. Ugh, I'm so frustrated. Why? Why?
I don't know. Aww.
I don't know why this is happening.
Okay. So y'all can't hear Alex.
Still can't hear.
That's so wild.
I don't know what's going on. Poor Alex, indeed. I know.
Hold on a sec.
I have no idea why this is happening. Hold on, let me try something.
While you're trying to figure out, I could, yeah, please stick with us. Don't go. Okay, probably, while you figure some stuff out, you can, I'm gonna share my screen. You can take off your screen while you figure out yourself. But y'all can hear me at least. Yeah? Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, so we're talking all things RCS. One thing that this does bring up to me though, which is, so I think Appella was the company that we spoke to, and one of the things that they kind of brought up, which is this aspect of like, a unique brand experience, right? Digitally. And I think that's kind of like a trend that's evolving, right? Which is, how do we create this like unique brand experience? Like, if you go into, we're going to bring up Sephora. If I go to Sephora in person, I know that it might feel chaotic. I know that it might feel whatever, but like, what does that digital experience look like? And I think there's something to be said about like this aspect of, company branding by way of the digital interaction and not everything feeling so like the same.
Hi, Bianca.
Hey, hi.
I figured you didn't need to talk alone. I figured I could join you.
Oh,
at least until Alex can hear again.
I can hear
thank
again.
You.
I made this mistake. I'm not looking at the screen.
Oops. Oh,
why? You gotta look at us, Brent.
Sorry, everybody. Chad's gonna call me out on that sometime. I've done that gimmick so many times now that I'm gonna be looking away from the screen and somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, Brent, why aren't you paying attention?"
There you
why
go.
Way to ignore the content.
Occasionally,
wow, y'all.
Hi. Occasionally, StreamYard just like switches up where my sound is coming out of.
Well, we'll talk about that because that may be computer that's doing that. It may be StreamYard, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna go back to being producer, but
Bye, Brad.
I'm always here. I'm always here looking the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Just, don't be afraid to ask.
Oh, actually, before you go,
I'm laughing at you being a robot right now.
Before I go,
what?
Yeah, before you go, I am curious.
Wait.
Oh, what happened?
Now I can't hear Bianca again.
Oh my goodness.
I can hear Brent.
Oh my goodness.
Can you hear everybody?
We can hear everybody. Yeah.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
We can hear you.
That is so weird because I can hear you, Brent. I can't hear Bianca.
Interesting. Okay.
That is so interesting.
Oh man, this is stressful.
Dang.
That is. Oh God.
Okay, I got you
Alex,
now. I don't know what was happening. I have you now.
Yeah, interesting. Also, keep in mind you're in here twice. I don't know if that's messing with things or not.
It probably is.
You probably yeah.
Oh, that is because
That probably messes with things, but so it goes. There are two.
We
of
don't
me.
need. Or there's three. There's like three. Of you. Three of us.
Everywhere. No, I was
I'm gonna
just
leave.
laughing.
I'm gonna leave.
At,
oh wait, Bianca, you were gonna ask me something though. You were gonna ask me something.
Oh, what were you gonna ask
before
me?
I go?
Oh yeah. Just even the evolution, because you've been here for a while. Excuse me. So you have all the Twilio history. Even just like that evolution of messaging. How are you feeling about RCS? Like, it's been the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Just kind of curious your POV on RCS.
I think Bianca just called me old, but I'm gonna allow it. She said I've been here for a while. I don't know. I think she called me old. You don't know. Like, maybe I joined Twilio when I was like 14 or something. I don't know.
Basically.
Anyways. I think RCS is awesome because there are many flaws with SMS, and there are many like. There's absolutely pros and cons with all technology, but like there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with WhatsApp that you can't do with SMS. And I think what's cool with RCS is
Whoops. I just moved you. That was my bad.
That's all good. We're, the technology. I was just going to say like a lot of the things that you can do with WhatsApp, you can now do with RCS, like the different like rich content templates and action buttons and carousels. Like there's a lot of really interesting interaction things that you can do with it that just can't exist even with MMS, like you can send pictures. That's cool. I'm glad you can send pictures with MMS. But you know, this is an up level to the overall experience because everyone's going to have this. Not everyone has it right now, but everyone is going to have this. Like this is going to roll out to everyone's phones, and I think it changes the game a bit. This levels the playing field a little bit from things like, you know, Apple people have had iMessage. iMessage has had some features that are interesting that, you know, weren't supported in SMS, and then, you know, Android people would message at them and then they don't have their fun stickers and all that kind of stuff. And this just kind of levels things off a little bit.
Yeah.
The group conversations that I'm in that have Android folks that well, like the first time I knew I had RCS was my dad at some point got finally like moved off of an old phone into a smartphone, and his phone had RCS. Like his carrier and his phone had RCS, and my dad sent me a message. It said RCS in the little message box, but also when he read the message that I sent him, it said that it was red, and I'm like, oh, my dad's got RCS. Like I was like, immediately, this is the first and I found it very interesting, by the way, that the first conversation I had with RCS was with my father.
That is, well, it rolled out in iOS 18 for peer-to-peer RCS, but it wasn't until 18.1 that application to peer RCS came out.
Correct. And I'm not like Apple developer weird guy that was on all the iOS 18 betas. So I actually got that first message from my dad on an 18 beta. So it was just like, okay, I can see how this is going to change things. But yeah.
Yeah,
no,
it's
I love that.
It's the place I noticed it is when I was on a group chat with a few green bubbles mixed in, and it and when somebody like liked a message, I didn't get another message that said, you know, Matt liked this message. I got a thumbs up on the message. I was like, oh, this is better.
It was on a call with a few green bubbles.
It's not a call with some green bubbles, but I was just showing this is actually Brent's phone being recorded here.
That is true.
Ooh.
So this is Brent's phone, and you can see the like oh, where are we going? You can see the like here. Sorry, I don't know when to pause. You can see the quick replies. Marius helped us with this. Shout out to Marius, who of course he says, do you prefer cake or pie? Because what other question would someone on the DevNet ask?
Truly.
And then it was just a quick click, and then these carousels are super cool too.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that it's very native, right? So that is how picture carousels in the Messages app. So if you get if someone sends you multiple pictures on iOS, this is how they present themselves in iOS 18. This would be different on Android. Like it's going to represent itself however carousels represent themselves on Android. So you get this, like, that's the thing with WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp has all these features, but the UI is WhatsApp, and it's going to be WhatsApp on iOS, and it's going to be WhatsApp on Android, and they may do some things that are platform specific, but this is like, you know, especially in the United States, people aren't going to necessarily have WhatsApp, right? So they're not going to be familiar with that. But this doing things the way the native messaging application that comes on your phone, you're already used to this. You've already been messaging people. You already know, oh, I just got a stack of things. It's like when my best friend sent me a stack of pictures. I guess I can swipe through these. Like you don't have this learning curve of having like a third-party application. This is first party. It's right on your phone.
Yeah. No, that's a good.
I'm really selling this thing. I'm gonna send it back to y'all. But yeah, I'm just like I'm selling RCS now. Let's go.
I like RCS.
Thanks for your wise words, Brent.
You got it.
Or chef, as we know it. No, yes. So back, you were sharing, Alex, about just like RCS, because you did feature it.
I did feature it on the last episode. So yeah, that's why I was showing those videos. It's pretty cool. It's definitely a more complicated setup because you need to like set up the branded sender. And I think this stuff's becoming a little more normal because like we already have to look, it would have been a huge thing in the time before A2P 10 DLC because no one was used to having to register anything for a phone number, right? You just signed up for a Twitter account, you got a phone number. Now you have to register your business anyways. Like you have to tell the carrier who you are. So this isn't that much more to like do RCS and get that branded sender set up, which is super cool. And then you can start using things like the content template builder, which I might just pull up and start using because why not?
Okay.
I haven't used it before.
Hey, this is why are we here? This is what stream is all about.
Yeah.
Can you kind of so like for folks who haven't watched or aren't super familiar with the template builder, can you let us know?
Content template builder is basically a tool in Twilio that lets you build the rich content for any kind of message. So that means it's for RCS or WhatsApp or MMS. So anything that has any sort of rich content, you build those all together, and then no matter what channel you use, it's the same way of like you just send it through there. I haven't used it before. Like I'm gonna have to play with it. Like we might just get started.
Yeah, let's explore. We're just gonna explore. We're gonna explore. I wonder if we ask ourselves like what could.
I wonder, is it in messaging or is it in content template builder? Here we go, messaging.
Boom.
Oh, that's fun. I'll refresh the page.
Yep. Your tech is just not a fan of you today.
No.
Oh? Yeah?
Oh, I don't know. This is our, okay, so because I had Verify set up there, it looks like, whoa. Verify auto-created something in every language for WhatsApp authentication.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Fun times.
Okay. Let's go create a new one.
Okay.
Template names. What do you want to do?
Maybe we could do something with, because we do have some events. If we were doing kind of, should
we do it with
stuff.
a call to action?
Yep. I think we could do that. So let's call it, what did you call the last segment of your Twilio update? I'm trying to remember. Preview. Yeah. Like, I don't know. We can give it another name.
Let's say, well, I think we should do carousel.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and
yeah, because we do. Yeah, because we do
so I
have
think that's
a few
cards.
Things. Okay, cool.
And then we can show a bunch of different ones. I think that's the right one.
We'll figure it out. Are there any docs? Let's see. Let me see if there are some.
Yeah, I got docs up too.
Got some docs.
Too many things.
Okay,
I don't need this one. Cool.
No.
Let's see. Tons of them. Content API. Not going to use that right now.
No.
Here, let's see if one of these content type overviews. Okay. So these are the different types. So, you can preview them in different ways. You can create them in different ways. I wonder if card is, but there's one that just says carousel. I didn't see that option though.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one we had just have media URLs for each card. Create Twilio carousel template if it'll be used. Okay.
Yeah, because I have card and catalog, but I don't see carousel. Maybe I just don't have it enabled on my account.
Possibly.
Let's just do a call to action.
Okay.
And let's
have. RJ, we're playing around with some RCS templates. Have you used it before? Let us know. Event preview. Okay, cool. We could check to see what the
Oh, this is so cool. It'll tell you what it looks like.
Ooh. That's kind of cool. Join us for to hear from the winners of the AI Startup Searchlight. That's my announcer voice.
Nice.
Totally understandable, RJ. Busy.
Visit website. Do you have the website handy for the transform? Let me see. Hold on. Let me find the transform website really quick because I have it in Slack, I think.
I was like,
Where transform. Oh, maybe I don't have it. I can still hear you, Bianca. You're good.
Oh, you just heard my lovely hiccup. Great.
Let me find the
Transform. You're looking for, what are you looking for?
oh, I got it. This. So we need the link.
Cool. Yep. Okay, cool. So you have a link.
Yeah. And now register now. Sweet. I think that's it. You can add multiple buttons though. So we can have another one that's
Oh, we could do visit website. Let's see what website. Check out part 1. Oh, yeah. Check out part 1 and then
I can't, it won't be long enough.
Oh, it won't. Okay.
That's fine. I can do it this way.
Or it could go to the
I don't know where we link to part. Let's see.
part 1.
Whoop.
Those like possibilities in customer engagement.
Let's see. So this
Yep.
this is part 1. Okay.
Yep, that was part 1. Okay, cool.
Sweet. This is so cool. This is like super easy too.
Mm-hmm.
And like that looks better. I wonder, oh, you can add dynamic fallback. Oh, you can add variables. I bet you could like add someone's name.
Ooh.
Nice. I don't have one yet, but we'll get there.
I don't have. Okay, so that's like a good foundation. It's like, hey, kind of
So
like
I can
it.
save it and then I can submit it for WhatsApp approval if I wanted to. This one doesn't come with an image.
Mm-mm. And I feel like the image. Okay.
I'm gonna do just English ones and just see what because then we won't have all these.
Okay. Content type. I wonder the content. We could see the content type.
Yeah.
The ones that are always already made.
Yeah, because we
So
still
you
got
have-
some a bunch of verify ones.
Mhm.
Oh, I had a quick reply. So these are from the old WhatsApp template builder and they got moved over, which is cool. So like I had these where it would like we would do like you could have them quick choices for we were doing a whole survey.
What's the survey from? Oh, TSL.
The original TSL.
OG TSL.
OG TSL. This is like easier than I thought it'd be. I'm like,
Oh, that is very simple.
floored. Although, yeah, let's. I wonder which one. So that was call to action. Quick reply and call to action seem pretty similar. See what a card is. Oh, template language. English.
RJ, you said that you it was on your list to play around with RCS. I'm kind of curious what exactly, like what were you interested in tinkering in? Let us know. Let's see. Okay, so we have card. Content type, is it? Enter a valid name. Event preview.
Oh, underscores. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Gets picky.
It's like, we don't like that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
cool.
So this is similar, but you can add media and you can still add buttons.
Okay.
I wonder what this edit dynamic fallback is. Oh, that's cool. So basically you can say, okay, if it doesn't work, what are you going to fall back to? I like that.
I do. That's good. That's good.
Because one of the ideas is like you can try to send an RCS, but if someone can't get RCS, how do you actually still make sure that your message goes through?
You'll get the SMS.
This is cool. Media URLs there. Oh, you know what's super cool about this? You could create a template. Oh, you can create a template where when you call it like you could basically make it so oh, you can't do that. Okay. So you could basically make it so you had a generic template, and every time you would just when you sent the message, you would say, here's the media. Like, oh, this is exactly what I would do. So this is cool. So this is super generic, right? It's just 1, 2, 3. And then when you make the call for the API, you'd say, hey, 1 is my link. 2 is the title and text that I want. 1 is my picture, 2 is the title and text, and 3 is the link to send it to. And it'll just do it. You don't need to like make a new template for each one.
It's like a more efficient build in some ways too. Yeah. Rather than hard.
That's pretty cool.
Rather than being like, this is how it is. Gotcha.
I like that because then it's you're controlling it all on your when you're making the API call. Yeah, exactly. RJ says exactly. It was more being able to parameterize the templates and then do bulk generation. That's exactly what, right? You don't need to make a bunch of templates. You can just have a generic template for like, this is how we send an event thing. That's so cool. I like this a lot.
So when you were kind of doing, because I think what the thing with Twilio Update is that like you're exposed to so many things around like the Twilio ecosystem. So I'm kind of curious, when you initially kind of spent a little more time, right, talking with some of the folks who are working on this, like what was coming to mind for you in terms of how it can impact startups or how it expands things for folks?
I'm going to be fully honest. I didn't know how cool RCS was until I did this event. So I knew that RCS was going to be cool. I knew that it was kind of like the future of messaging, if you will, but I didn't know what that really meant until I did this. And I just kept seeing updates because I do the quarterly releases. I kept seeing updates about RCS, and there was all these cool ideas of all this rich content that you could build with it. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then I didn't really get the value prop until I had a conversation with Will McKenzie, who's one of our PMMs, and then Lindsay Weinig, who's also one of our PMMs, about why this stuff is so cool and so special. And that is the thing that like tipped it for me to be like, oh, this is awesome. This is going to be so impactful. And I think the key to it is just immediately building trust and immediately giving people rich functionality. Look, there's this tension where like email people use for marketing and customer care all the time, because you potentially, in theory, know if someone opens it, if they click, you can have a lot more info, you can put pictures, you can put links. Like there's so many things you can do in email. And text message, we used to say, oh, it's a 98% open rate, but that was just, to be honest, an estimate, right? We didn't know. But we just, from all the research that we had done, it was so many people open these things, whether or not they reply, that's a whole nother issue. But all of a sudden you're getting so much of that email functionality in native text messaging. And I think that is super powerful.
Yeah. I mean, one thing, made my little handy dandy notepad. One thing that is coming up, even when you're talking about like trust, which is like, I get a note that's like a toll booth. Like the scammer is looking for quick and dirty, right?
Yeah.
Quick, and you have an unpaid toll. But is the scam developer going to sit down and create? Maybe they might, but for the most part, right? Like the thoughtfulness about how you're getting the message, the thoughtfulness about the customer experience. I think being able to have those like distinctions around companies who are kind of building out like communication that seems more authentic, or like, oh, this is a message from an order, rather than it just being like some random scammer that's like, hi, I am this random company. So
we're all gonna love it too, because all of a sudden you're not just gonna get a message from United that says, hey, check-in's your flight. You're gonna get a message from United that says, hey, check-in's your flight, and here's a button to do it in one click.
My favorites have been the messages that are like, and this is how you put your bag in the the carry-on compartment. But I think also like, how do you lighten the load I think also like, how do you lighten the load for some of your other channels? I think that's going to be an interesting thing, because I think before messaging at times could just be very broadcast focused versus like, how do you start to kind of take off pieces of the other parts of the process? So I think that's going to be like exciting. I mean, I asked this question to some of our Searchlight folks. What do you see RCS playing well with? Like, where do you see it? Kind of curious.
I am going to steal some of what Will said, but I think RCS is going to play really well with your favorite, which is retail, because all of a sudden, like, you're going to get that text message from Sephora and it's going to be, hey, check out these 5 products. And you're just literally going to be able to swipe in your phone and then click on one and it's going to show up. Like, that's all it's going to be. Like, that's going to be so cool. So I think for there, I think it's going to help with like banking and things like that, because those fraud alerts are all of a sudden going to be a lot cleaner, where it's just like, was that you? Yes or no? Easy. And we're going to trust it, instead of like, sometimes I get fraud alerts and I'm like, is this actually Chase? Like, I don't know. But you know, it's going to be more trusted. So I think anytime there's a really quick action, like checking in for a flight, yes or no, is this you? Anytime that you're trying to show people a lot of different information, you want it to be a little bit nicer with pictures. I think that those are kind of the first ones that I think about. What do you think? Do you have any ideas? You haven't seen it as much as I have, but do you have any ideas?
No, I mean, let's see. When I was looking at it initially, I do think the ease of I know there's this like running joke with like, this could have been an email. Like, you know how sometimes when people have meetings, that whole like, this could have been an email. And I think over time we'll start to see certain interactions that like, whether it is like, did I really need an email? Also costs, like, you know, things are changing in terms of costs and things like that. So I think like even businesses having to be a bit more creative and strategic around like, what is the most efficient place to get this information? What action am I needing from said user? And then also attention. Like, your consumers and your customers are used to receiving messages in some form, right? So whether they're more on social media, whether they're active in other places. So I think even this aspect of like, you're not just competing for their inbox, you're competing for their attention. So I think the more that you're able to create like compelling experiences wherever you talk to them, like, I think that to me is just like, I think it just plays well with just like, action, like inspiring action rather than just being information. And I think for a while, companies were so focused on information overload rather than curation. So I think maybe actually, now that I think about it, it's like, how do you curate information? And I think especially in this time period with like so much insights, curation, I think can be an interesting kind of aspect of the RCS experience for companies.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point. It's like, what is the information you want to like pop, right? David asked a really great question. He said, is there a certificate authority to verify who the RCS message comes from? Yes. So RCS stands for Rich Communication Services, I believe. Rich Communication Service. And it's a Google tool. So that's kind of why it took so long for iOS to update it. And you have to register your brand and your information with Google, and then they verify it. There might also be a process of registering it with the carriers as well. But it's so yes, there is somebody verifying and vetting things. The same way that now you have to verify and vet any phone number that you get as from a programmatic standpoint with 10DLC registration, which is basically the carriers. You have to tell them who you are. So that's kind of a new thing, right? When 2-3 years ago, it was the Wild West. You could just pull something up. So there's a verified by Google that will show up for the profile. So I think that was a Chef Brent ad, but yes, there is. So you do get verified by Google, and there's a whole process to do that. And you do that through Twilio if you're using Twilio RCS.
Yeah, it's been an interesting time for messaging sometimes, right? I think folks are so tired of the spam, like and I think being able to take that back. Also, just allow folks to know, like, companies are thinking about this. They're working on it. They're prioritizing this. So, lots of good stuff there. I'm curious, any other things that you covered on TU?
On
AKA
Twilio
Twilio
update. Yeah, let's see. I had an update on, this was a good one, especially for shout out to all my European people like RJ, who's over in the UK. We regionalized functions and assets, which means that if you're in Europe, you can kind of like, I don't know exactly how it works, but you can have your functions and assets live in Europe and not leave. So the data stays in one spot, which is a regulatory compliance issue and a performance issue. I know we've had people say that they couldn't use functions and assets in the past because of that. So now you can use the built-in Twilio serverless features. Another update with Content Template Builder. For WhatsApp, there used to be a separate WhatsApp template, and now it's all in Content Template Builder. So we've moved them all there, and we're telling people to use them all. And then we had a few updates in Segment as well. And those were the other tech updates. And then I'm currently scripting, and tomorrow we'll be filming the next episode. This stuff takes a while to make. And the next one's all about Segment. So if you are curious what Segment CDP is all about, why it's so important, what a CDP does or is, this is it. We're going to be talking all about that stuff.
Got it. Any chat, definitely let us know if we talk about like all the Twilio products and services. I'm kind of curious, have folks used like Segment? Have you used and you might not. You may or you may not. It depends. But I'm kind of curious, like some of the Twilio services you've used, and then also the ones that you're curious about too. Let us know.
Yeah.
In the chat.
I had fun. So one other little Easter egg, and David Ramirez will appreciate this because he got to meet this little friend of mine in person.
Okay.
Hold on, let me pull it up here. One moment. There we go. Shout out to my part of my thesis project for grad school, which was building a robotic boat. I built those holes out of fiberglass myself, which is something that I do not recommend anybody doing. It's a pain. But I built this myself. We did we tried to do a project with it using like a camera in the front to track things. We did some demonstrations of it in simulation. I don't think we got it working on the real boat, but I forgot where I was going with this. Wait, what were we just talking about?
Oh,
I totally spaced because I got
it's okay.
Robo-Boto.
I
got so excited to show it off.
I think I was talking about Twilio products and service.
Oh, that's where it went. So I sent this video with a text to my professor who was my did my thesis with me when I was doing this. And he, in a quick discussion, he was like, yeah, I'm thinking about using Twilio to implement on one of his projects. And I was like, great. So that might come up on stream. I told him that if he tells me what the project is, I'll build it for him on stream. So, but I just love that Twilio is so wide ranging that me talking to a guy who does robotics at ASU was like, hey, I'm going to use Twilio for something. I love that. I love it. I don't get to work with robots enough anymore, but.
I'm curious. Yeah, we're gonna have a robot stream one day. I have some one of these days.
We had a robot on the mega stream on Friday.
Oh, we did. Yes, we did. We had both of y'all sharing your pets. So it was that. Speaking of which, if you have not watched there was just so much goodness. We talked about liftoff, but we broke it up. So that was I really enjoyed that. So you got to see different team members of us, some of our other team members, oh gosh, Jesus. Look at me using the Lord's name. Okay. But highly recommend watching that if you haven't done so already. Let's see. Okay. RJ answered my question.
Yeah.
So commercially flex functions and assets. Okay, cool. Okay. The reason why I bring this up is we might be talking about flex for an upcoming, y'all get first look here. So for an upcoming Builder Lab, we're going to be kind of talking about Flex, but I'm kind of curious, just kind of like what you feel like we don't talk about enough with some of these products. So definitely let us know. I'm just kind of curious, like with some of the things you've built with, what would you be curious about, like seeing more of? But yeah, no, that was my little side tangent.
Yeah. Flex is a weird one. Flex is so cool. RJ dropping some opinions that I agree with. Lookup and verify are very underrated. Agreed 100%. If somebody's like, what should I be doing with Twilio? This is usually the first thing that I'm doing. Like after, if you're already doing messaging, like this is number 2. It's like look up phone numbers, verify, like verification. Mm-hmm. It's all super easy. But what I was going to say is Flex is an interesting one because you can build Flex self-serve, but it's not as easy as all of our other stuff. And I saw this firsthand as I recently helped spin up a Flex instance for the, we have this basically at the office in San Francisco. There's a place where we host VIPs and the CEOs of the companies that we're trying to do business with and kind of like the big people. We call it the Executive Engagement Center.
So we shouted out the green people, the UK people, the Europe people, and now we have the big people.
Now we have the big people, yeah.
We have all the people.
Yeah, we have all the people. So it's the Executive Engagement Center, and I helped them spin up an instance of Flex so they can start using a generic phone number to text or call or have people call in and talk to them. And it's a very high touch thing, right? There's 3 people who run this center, and they basically are willing to be available almost 24/7 for people showing up at this engagement center, because that's their whole job. And they wanted to make it really high touch and show off how Twilio could use it. And we set it up with Flex. And I got like 80% of the way there. Like they could do it, but then we had to bring in some people who've built with Flex before on our team, some solutions engineers to like finish the job and make it really, really powerful. But it's so cool. And I'm excited to at some point maybe highlight that kind of use of Twilio on Twilio that they did.
No, that's a good, Twilio on Twilio. And then I think even the other thing too, like Flex is going to be interesting. Even we had kind of even mentioned that on on stream, even just like some of the stuff with like voice and how like voice can play well with Flex. So that'll be some interesting things. It's just like so many suites of products to solve a variety of solutions. And I think, we are known as like messaging, right? Is the first thing that people think of. But I really do think like when you think about it from like a I think about like the communication ecosystem. And there are so many different things that you need, right? You also want to make sure you're talking to the right person. Is this a real person? Is this a real number? That's a part of the process, right? Of in comm. So I think I'm very, very excited for more folks to kind of engage at large with Twilio at large to kind of really solve, all their things.
And look, one route we didn't take, but we thought about on this stream that is similar, not the same, but similar to the route they're taking on Thursdays, Brent and Chris, the developer lens, is, hey, could we build all the communication services out for a startup? And could we make like a fake startup to do that with? And that's still really exciting to me. I'm really excited to see how they build it on the developer lens, because that stuff is so necessary, and it's so much fun to show the demos and show how to build them and show what you can do with this stuff, because it's pretty cool. And I don't know, I'm gonna get a little meta here, Bianca. Neither of us are like marketers. Neither of us have that background. I've actually I pretended to be a marketer at tech companies because no one else could talk to humans and write a tweet.
I'm not a big fan of marketing.
I can't hear you.
I used to talk shit about marketing.
Yeah.
Look at
and
here I am.
Here we are. And there was a part of me when we first started doing things like Twilio Builder Labs, where I was like, who am I to be talking about how to communicate with your customers? And I was like, no, wait a second. If you're paying attention, you know what good customer experience looks like. Mm-hmm. It's something that we all interact with. It's something that we all deal with. We know what's good. We know what's bad. And that I was like, I can talk about these things. Now, the key is I'm now in a place to not just talk about them, but talk about how to fix it. And I think that's what got me excited. And that's what gave me the confidence to start talking about customer engagement in Twilio Builder Labs and other webinars and here on stream and on YouTube and all the other places.
Yeah, I mean, it also goes into like, you know, when you're so focused on like the technology and the products, it can be, I think you can get stuck on that, right? Like, you know, the like, okay, what are the capabilities? But then I think like whether it's like the engagement part is such a core part. Like you're not just building products so you can stare at them. You're building them so customers can engage and have delightful experiences. So I think like, you know, this is why, yeah, we live long enough to work in marketing, because over time, if you are so product centric, if you are so focused on great technology, you're going to want to make sure it's able to reach the right folks and enable people. So like, we all find our way there. So it's definitely been an interesting journey for, especially like for me, just being so focused on like what kind of products, how are we solving problems? But I do think this is another layer, you know, within the conversation.
Yeah. I also realized for me, and this is very personal, I can do the tech stuff. I'm okay. I can code, not great, but I can do it. And I was looking around at the developer network, and there's so many people who are amazing technical educators, right? Every single evangelist can code circles around me and tell the story about how they're coding way better than me. So I was like, okay, what's my niche here? Like, where am I going to fit in? And then I was like, well, I think there was a little bit missing in our team, because there's a product marketing team and they're awesome people here at Twilio. I work with them a lot, and they can tell the story of a product and what is used and how to use it and all those things. But there's a little bit of a bridge that was missing of like, how do you take that product story and actually put it into action? And I feel like that's the niche I'm trying to fill here at Twilio, which is like, figure out what are the cool things that we're doing from a product side, figure out how you do it with tech, and bridge that gap a little bit. So I don't need to be the best coder. I don't need to be the best product marketer, but I think there's a space in between that I try to live in. And yeah, you know, technical storytelling, that's kind of where I found myself and what I like to do.
It's so great. I felt like I was hearing the start of a story, like a mini movie. Join us as we follow Alex's coming of age story. Like that's so beautiful.
It is. It's this is funny. I love that David's here, because he's reminding me of one of my favorite classes at grad school. Was a class called Advances in Robot Learning, right? And it was a very paper heavy class, but the bulk of what this professor taught, shout out to Henny Benamor, great professor, wasn't the technical details of how to understand like a paper and the research and things going on. It was how to tell a good story. It was how to give a good presentation. So the class, we learned about some basics and like how robot learning worked. And then we would sit there and analyze, look at some of these papers. And then the final project was give a presentation based on a paper somebody else wrote and figure out how to tell their story. And he had this whole idea of like, you got to slay the dragon, right? You got to tell us what the dragon is, tell us what the big thing is, and then tell us how you're taking that down and solving the problem. And I think that was such a cool, it was so smart on Henny's part, this professor, to understand that the thing that all these students needed wasn't another deep dive into some technical concept. It was how to relate these technical concepts in a way that people can digest them so you can be successful in how you do that. And it was one of the most impactful classes that I had because of that reason.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You got my brain flowing again. The brain flow. That's a new dance. The brain flow. Okay. So what that makes me think about, because I was actually going to ask a question about like, what does it mean to be a builder, right? And that's like a word that we've been using a bit more these days here at Twilio. And I think even this is like, how do all these technical concepts, right? How do all these building blocks come together to create a solution? And I think even you mentioning like, yes, we have great tech. we have all these great resources, but it's like, how do all these pieces fit together? And I think like it's great that you brought that up, because I was curious. I was going to ask Chad, and even you as well, Alex, like when you think about like, what does it mean to be a builder currently, right? And like, what does that mean to you? And even this aspect of like, what does it mean for companies to show up to help people to build, right? Asking all the deep questions. But that's what, like, when you started mentioning that, I'm like, yes, it is. I think we can build great tech. We've seen what we can do, but I think we're in this like next iteration. So chat, the question's also for you too. Like, what does it mean to you to like be a builder, and how do you feel like tools and companies can support you as you're building great things? So it's a question.
Do you want me to? That reminds me of another story.
Oh, we can go into story. We can do whatever we want on this
It's the
stream.
AB Story Hour. Change the name from A/B testing.
With the AB Story Hour. Okay.
I remember being at one of my first hackathons, and early on in the hackathon, realizing that like I was on a team, there was like 6 or 8 people, and I was like, I don't get where like the bulk of these people are moving. I'm going to go do my own thing. And I was like kind of a coder, but not like I was just getting started. And one other guy came with me, and we built this presentation together. But I took the route of not actually coding a prototype, making wireframes and telling a good story. And we did pretty well. I mean, I didn't win this hackathon, which, we shout out to, I forget what his name was, the champion who came on that had only won like every hackathon he'd ever been in. But I didn't win, but it was still a good experience for me to know, oh, if I can tell a good story and a compelling story, that's a great first step to building. And I think now with how these AI development and prototyping tools are coming out, the realm of who is a builder is so much bigger, right? It used to be you were trying to explain your idea and you hope somebody would understand it. Now you can make that pretty easily. Now, is it going to be perfect from the first go? No. Are you going to have a lot of iterations? Yes. Are you eventually going to have somebody who can code really well come in and fix it? Probably. Like AI is a super great tool, but I just love how much the world of that, like the prototype is so much easier to make now. And I really appreciate that, because I think, kind of it's the idea of like seeing is believing, right? Can you show something so that all the people around you can actually see what you're trying to do instead of trying to explain it with words? So
that was deep.
There's my rant.
That's good. It's good. More than words, more than tech.
Yeah.
Build. Just build. Just build.
Just build it.
Just build.
But yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
David?
There we go. Shout out to what we're doing here, which is David saying developer advocates out in the community make a difference for learners and practitioners. And I absolutely agree. That's why I'm so happy that I have this job, that we have this job, Bianca, that we get to go and try to make a difference in someone's life.
That's our make a difference. You're like, no, it's okay. Dave, see now I feel like, David, we didn't even tell you the next part, because I wanted to talk about Signal a little bit. So even this aspect of just like being in the community, I promise David didn't see the next kind of topic per se, but all right, thank you. Take it away. Oh,
Whoop.
Shit. Sorry. Too many chefs.
First of all, check out this new branding. Fancy. Vibes for sure.
So it is,
yeah.
It's so interesting, because I was actually thinking about like I think now more than ever, it's so important to convene. I think the exchange of ideas, like, yeah, we've been doing things digitally. Yes, we can be inspired. But to me, it's like, how are you connecting with other folks that are building and creating things? And I think like even that aspect of just like, how do we get out there? The Zoom boxes are cool. The stream boxes are cool and great. Please come and see us every Tuesday. We love it. But at the same time, like, where are you going to kind of like share space, collaborate in other ways? Like, there's something there, right? So I think like even that aspect of community, on how we build, like I think that's an underrated aspect too. How are you thinking about like things like Signal, Alex, like, and even just like community as it relates to how we build?
That's a good question. When I first started this job, I was like, I'm gonna like hit the ground and be like the center of the Denver startup community with Twilio, and that didn't quite materialize because I had a child, and couldn't go out as much as I wanted to these events.
That's honest.
But
that's right.
yeah, it's honest. It's where I'm at. But I think that I don't know. I remember this moment when I went to my like first concert after COVID. I love live music, right? I always go see live music. And I went to my first concert. It was actually Wilco in New York, playing the 20th anniversary of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. And I just like turned to my wife at some point and I was like, why'd we stop going to concerts? And I was like, oh, right. They were all canceled for 2 years. And I just think that like being around people, the energy is so special. And I'm so excited to get back to that. I mean, I love streaming. I'm so happy to hang out with all y'all in chat. I'm so happy to hang out with you, Bianca. Also, like being in person is fun. And I'm just like excited for that energy and that vibe to come back. I was at the last time we did a major gathering, which is our creator summit, which was I think that was all the way back in 2023, right? Or was that early 2024?
Oh my gosh,
I don't remember.
Definitely. I feel it feels like I feel like I'm channeling my Andrew. It feels very 2023. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like I was at that event and that was a ton of fun to be there in person. And it's the first time I got to do a giant live demo in front of people, which was very nerve-wracking, but fun nonetheless. Yeah, doing a demo with a robot and AI that you like hope is going to work is stressful. But it was so much fun to be there with the coworkers and talk to customers and just like be a part of the energy. There was so much energy. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to hopefully giving a talk. We'll see if I get selected or not.
Wanna be on top.
Yeah, we'll get there. Maybe we'll get to meet our new CMO, Chris. I haven't met him in person yet. Although I guess we were at the event together in New York.
Yeah, I was like, were you not there?
I was giving a second talk.
Oh, sorry. You were extra working while we were.
Bianca and I went to an event to give a talk. And we were giving a talk in the morning before the formal event started. And then as I'm there, someone comes up and is like, hey, so one of our speakers is sick and can't give a presentation. Will you do it? And so I ended up giving a second talk. So I spent the time in between the two writing a presentation to give as a talk. And then I gave a second talk. And, that's the joy of knowing enough about what I'm talking about to just get up there and talk about it. So that was fun. Shout out to Kaylin, looking good, giving a chat in her track jacket. One of our colleagues. Yeah.
No, lots of good stuff. I feel like and also if there are things you want to see, like I think might be doing some meetups or whether formally or informally. So like if there are things you want us to talk about or see, please, like let us know. We don't want this, we want this to be for y'all as well. So, keep us posted. I also added in the chat too, if you want to join us, IRL, San Francisco is the place to be.
Yeah.
And again, it's always cool to see people's faces. I mean, I'll tell y'all the story of when I first met Brent. I thought Brent was hyper serious. I was I thought you were a hyper serious person. And then when I met Brent, I was like, wow, Brent, you're so cool. You're funny. So wow. I'm not saying you need to pay $500 to know that Brent's not serious to meet us at Signal, but you may discover many other things in this life. But I do think in person does add a different flavor of just bringing people and places and things to life in a way that I don't think can always come across on a stream or in video. So definitely a thing. Lots to look forward to. Yeah, let's see what else.
I was trying to think, when did we first meet Brent? Was it when we did we meet him at the first
Summit?
Yeah.
And then now we see Brent all the time. Like now I'm like, wow, Brent is # one of the faves. You know, it's a high honor. That was not sponsored, even though he's a producer. But
I'm trying to figure out which episode we did that if on YouTube where we were live in the office.
Ooh, yes. Ooh.
But it was early, but I can't remember which one it was.
Ooh, I forget. We'll find it. It actually is reminding me. So the other day I looked at one of the clips where I threw my phone on the floor.
That was so good.
When we did our 5 questions, like that was so fun. Maybe we gotta run that back. No, yeah. So anything you're looking forward to, Alex? Like whether it's in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm going on vacation next week, so I'm gonna say goodbye and not talk to any of you for a week, and it's gonna make my appreciation of all of you so much greater.
Wow. Great.
No, that's not it. I'm just excited to take a break from work. No, you make it all better, Bianca, and Brent, you too. It's Twilio updates is a lot of work. And I knew it would be a lot of work. I don't know if I totally like grokked the consistent level of work it was going to be forever. Like not forever, but like pretty much forever. Like there's always, I'm working on the next, like I released the episode today. I've already started scripting the next one and I'm filming it in a few days. And then I have to start editing it. And then I have to start researching for the next one. And so I'm just excited to take a nice little break with my family to, we're going to Costa Rica. We're going to spend some time at the beach. I get to go scuba diving. I'm excited to recharge a little bit. I think it's going to be really nice. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm going to miss everybody though. Who knows? Maybe I'll be like last vacation where I still tune into stream when you stream without me.
I mean, I've joined sometimes some streams when I'm on vacay. Also, I'm gonna reshare the link. I think it was being weird the initial way I shared it, but anyways, I am excited. I feel like we have a lot going on. So I feel like March, like we have tons of new content. So, you know, I am excited about work stuff. I am probably gonna be, I probably will take a little vacay in April. We are kind of getting some of our champions on. Our champions are just booked and busy. So, you know,
cool
scheduling has been an adventure, but we have not forgotten about getting some champions on. We also have just like, because, you know, as we're leading up to Signal, there's like products and kind of new initiatives that are coming out. So we're also excited for y'all to connect more with, more with some of our Twilio internal people. So lots to look forward there. And as we wrap, I want to shout out Brent again, because when we started this stream, so Alex and I, we've just pounded the pavement, right? So today was kind of pulling us back into the element of like OG stream energy of just like, y'all are just going to have to go with the flow. And I love that Brent was just like, there's so much to talk about. Yeah. And I think like, I bring this up in the sense that like, as we live our lives, and it's so funny, I kind of compared it to dating minus Alex, because Alex is married and the only person you should be dating is your wife.
We started dating.
See? But I was thinking about how like, even the way Brent was like, I mean, what's something exciting to you from the week? Or what have you worked on? And I think sometimes we can get so caught up in like, the day-to-day and we think things aren't exciting, but I guess maybe my closing thought is to like find the exciting things of your day. And maybe it seems small, but it's like there's probably something you were inspired by this week. There's probably someone you had a cool conversation with. There's probably other moments of delight, but I think we can kind of get so wrapped up in like the day-to-day and like the to-dos and the task list. But I guess maybe my closing thought is to like encourage folks to find the delight in your days and find the delight in like what you're working on. And I get it. Life can be a little crazy, work responsibilities, but I think Brent's comment today kind of reminded me of like, there's so much richness, there's so much beauty in the things we do, the lives that we live. So I really encourage us to kind of find our delight, right? Whether it's this week, next week, whatever. That's my homework for y'all. Like, how do we find that delight? So
find the delight and then share it with us on Discord. There you go. Yeah, I wanted to make sure. I know we have like a bot that does it in Slack and Twitch, but I wanted to make sure all of our YouTube friends got it too. I love that, Bianca. That's such a beautiful sentiment of, find the delight. And yeah, I think again, that can be hard sometimes. We got a lot going on. I, as a parent, have so much going on, but it's still good stuff. And we still get to do fun things. And yeah, I actually went skiing this weekend. That was another fun thing I did. I went skiing. Yeah, but we find some, what's exciting for you, Bianca? You just asked everybody else to think of it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, so my friend just had a baby, and like, oh my gosh, like just the newness of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you're now responsible for a human, like, also what's been delightful, going to Sephora. I've just been like, honestly, I've just been excited to just like play around with different like formulations or different like skin things. I love skincare. So I think for me, like, it's been exciting to get creative again, to get playful again around certain things. I think for me, that's been kind of exciting. And then also just like going back into like, yeah, just like what technology feels exciting again. I think for an era it didn't, to be candid. So I think for me, I'm feeling that energy of like building and like, what are we creating? What problems are we solving? What are some cool things that people are doing? So I think I'm excited to just kind of be hopeful. And that to me has been feeling kind of exciting, of just like finding light and goodness, because there's always going to be shittiness. Like there's well, maybe there's not always going to be shittiness, but some days can sometimes
something's
feel
always
darker.
Gonna be shitty.
That is true. But I didn't even press the button. But yeah, I think for me, those things feel exciting, of just finding hopefulness, finding joy, connecting to the things that spark creativity. Like, that's kind of cool. So those are kind of some things that feel exciting, the newness.
Yeah. And I'm super excited, speaking of newness, to start talking to champions. We're going to be bringing them on stream for the next couple weeks, probably through March and April. And RJ, looking at you, RJ. No, we know RJ just started a new job and he's still getting the timing together. So we're super happy for him.
Congratulations.
But I think that like we're in this little Twilio bubble where we talk to a lot of people at Twilio, and they're amazing people and they're super special and they build amazing things. I'm so excited to talk to some people building that are just outside that bubble, I think it's going to be a really great new batch of energy of building that's going to come in to just inspire us. I mean, that's what happens when we talk to people just outside of the developer network. And so I'm psyched for the next couple of weeks to talk to a bunch of champions and to kind of just dive into the excitement of building again.
I love it. All about the build. All about the build. We'll come up with a jingle. That'll be on our to-do list for a future stream. Well,
yeah, right on my to-do list.
Thank you, chat, for joining us. As always, we appreciate you. Again, if you're watching in the future, tell us what the future is like. Let us know. But yeah, we're always here. Join us in Discord. Say hey. We have a new show kicking off tomorrow called Build a Blog with Rashab and Andrew. Very excited about that. We have Developer Lens, which you can watch on Thursday with Chris, the frog, Toe Frog, and the chef of the Brents. But lots of good stuff. We're excited to kind of just bring back some content, be back in conversation with y'all. So please let us know again as we're continuing to have these shows for y'all, like what you're looking forward to, what you're excited about. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what parts of these segments stick out to you, what you've enjoyed. We understand it's definitely a different format on the YouTube channel, so please let us know like what segments or what things stick out. You know, we're playing around. We're trying to speak to multiple people here. So
you reminded me of something that was super exciting. So we spent all of last month, we spent all of February talking about conversational AI, voice AI. And the cool thing was, one of the comments on the first episode of Twilio Update was, I'd love to see some live demos of this. I was like, sweet, we got that. So, you know, we're working on how do we take this very long format content or long form content and get it a little bit more concise for all of you to enjoy kind of the meat of it. But we like being here for 2 hours and chatting with you because it's fun. So we're going to keep doing that. Yeah.
Facts. It allows us to find the good stuff. So thank you again, chat. Enjoy your week. Hopefully we'll see you again next Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday too. But hopefully we'll see you on Twilio Devs. So good to see y'all. Have a good one.